Do, 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 do. Yes, it is working. Yes, here we go. I'm gonna close this, and then I'm gonna pull this up, and then I'm gonna do something else, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening today. Well, happy Saturday. Oh wait, it's not Saturday. It's Sunday. Oh, that's why I don't stream on Sundays. I get confused. I get horribly confused when I stream on Sunday. Yes. So unfortunately, yesterday I couldn't stream yesterday. I was playing freaking Gears of War. That's it. That's all that's all what I was doing yesterday. And I also on Friday I went to sleep at like 3 a.m. So I was like really freaking sleepy yesterday. Thankfully I did sleep well tonight. Is it today or tonight? I think it's today. Today. Yes. So yeah, I did sleep well yesterday. Although there was this fucking weird dream that is kind of like it stayed with me. Oh shit! Wait. Let me open up YouTube. I need to open YouTube for the music. YouTube.com. There we go. There was this weird dream that I had yesterday or today. No, actually, it was today because I do remember waking up to my alarm, then going back to sleep, and then for like 15 minutes, and then the freaking dream like showed up for those 15 minutes, and it was like the most vivid dream sort of thing. Ambient. What was the name of the music? Jungle ambience music. I hope I can find like this. Amazon. Celtic. Oh, obnoxious Celtic Guardian. I think it's called. I think it was Forest. Either Forest or Forest. I haven't been able to find the video that I used to put in the background. That was like 11 hours long. Enchanted Force. About Mayan ambience music. I don't think it is gonna show up. Nope. I do know what the thumbnail looks like. The problem is I get a bunch of irrelevant stuff. Oh, there we go. This is one tribal ambient music. Oh, so that's what it was called. Oh, that was what it was called. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you know what? Maybe I should save the do I still have my main browser? No, I don't have my main browser. I'm gonna open it. Copy paste it real quick on my main browser so I can save it for later. That way I don't have to worry about finding where this one is. Share. No, it's not share. Oh, save. Here we go. Watch later. I don't know which is the one playlist. I think I'll just put it on the watch later. Okay, set to watch later. There we go. So weird. Oh yeah, I did have like this weird ass dream that kind of like stuck to me. And it unlike any other dream that I've ever had. It definitely felt like it ran for 15 minutes instead of like feeling less than that. Okay, so I'm ready. There we go. Let's switch here. Web browser shouldn't be blocking. Yeah, it's not blocking. So now, okay, game audio. There we go. Now I can move to this. Oh, you can see my cursor. Maybe I should use the cursor for something, but I don't know what I could use the cursor for. Whatever. Yeah. So yeah, that dream, it kind of like stuck to me. I don't really want to talk about it because it's been far more vivid than a lucid dream. It almost felt real. Almost. Way more real than a lucid dream. I think that's what it's called. That kind of dream where you're in control But I wasn't in control in that dream. I knew, I kind of like felt it was like a dream, but I wasn't in control, so I wasn't 100% aware that it was a dream. Alright, here we go. Oh, 11 chapters, so maybe I can do 5, and then next stream is gonna be the remainders. Alright, let's go. Wait, before things first, I gotta show the name of the book. There's a lot of wasted pages just on the credits. So it's not even 88 pages, it's more like 82. There we go. Based on
for the stream. I had this book as a kid.
Oh hell yeah. Now you have it, but in digital form. Actually there is a, I can't remember where exactly I downloaded the ebook format, yeah, the ebooks for these books. I mean novels. I wanna put them up on YouTube later. Yeah, maybe if I don't forget, if I don't forget, I'll definitely put them up on YouTube. Like make a post and then, hey, you want to read this on your own? Here you go. Also, welcome Ponty, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Long days and pleasant nights, so I say. I keep forgetting to say that to people who come in to watch and stuff. Wait, you know what? I'm gonna move the book. There we go. It annoys me. I don't know why it annoys me, but it does. Based on the best-selling video game Turok, Arena of Doom. Doesn't even, it looks like a Colosseum. It's the Roman Colosseum with raptors, and there's people running about. Michael Tatebaum. Tatebaum. Okay, let me see how many pages are wasted on just like the credits. So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay, technically this isn't actually wasted, but it's not a lot. For thousands of years, the eldest male of the Sequin tribe protected the passageways between Earth and the lost land of Galliana. In time, this eldest became known as Turok, protector of Earth. The mantle of the mantle, is that how you spell? No way, that's how you spell mantle. Let me check. Mantle, is it mantle? Wait, google.com. Mantle definition. It says the meaning of mantle is a beam, stone or arc serving as an lintel to support the masonry above. Oh yeah, so it is a freaking misspell error there. For thousands of years, the eldest male of the Sequin tribe protected the passageway between Earth and the lost land of Galliana. In time, this eldest became known as Turok, protector of Earth. The mantle of Turok continues to be passed from one generation to the next in an unending battle to keep Earth from being destroyed. Turok, Arena of Doom, Adventure number 3 by Michael Tatebaum. This website no longer exists. Don't even try it. The last time I tried it, it was kind of like hijacked by ransomware. I think, yeah, this is where I got it. Now I remember. This is where I got the novels, but I don't remember where I found this website. So yeah, don't trust this unless you want your computer to die. So Stan Lee, who took comic books to the next level.
An entire liter of milk.
Oh, let's go. I hope you don't have. I hope you don't have. You're not like lactose intolerant. I'm lactose intolerant, and I still like milk. Hello, Alex. Welcome. Long days, pleasant nights. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. So I was gonna say Saturday, but it's not Saturday. It's Sunday. To Stan Lee, who took comic books to the next level and helped shape my writer's voice in the pulse-pounding pages of his work. MT. This book is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents are products of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual events or locales or persons living or dead is entirely confidential. A gold key paperback original. Damn, maybe how much do... I don't know how much one of these books would cost if it were new. I don't think I've ever seen one of these books new. Prologue. The story so far. We find 17-year-old Joshua Farsi trapped in the bizarre dimension known as the Lost Land of Galiana. Josh was accidentally transported to the Lost Land along with his 15-year-old tragically hip sister Allison and his wisecracking best friend Barry Hakowitz, also 17. Millions of years ago, a fire-seed ancestor found the energy source responsible for opening the doorway between Earth and the horrible Lost Land. Since that time, it has been the responsibility of the eldest Fire-Seed male to become Turok, protector of the Earth. The mantle and the burden of being a Turok passed from one generation to the next in the Fire-Seed lineage. For thousands of years, Turoks have defended Earth from attacks by the deadly evolved dinosaurs of Galiana, called dinosaurs. Oh, fucking hell, that scared me. Oh god. Hello Joseph, welcome, welcome. Long days, pleasant nights, so I say. Happy Sunday, feliz domingo. You actually got me with that freaking jump scare. It's a where did I go? The last thing Joshua Farsid wanted was for the burden of his family's responsibility to fall onto his shoulders. But when his uncle Carl returned to Earth from Galiana on the brink of death, young Joshua inherited the job of protecting Earth as the new Turok. Along with this responsibility, Josh also inherited the French leather satchel carried by old Turok, known as the Light Burden. This satchel gives Turoks access to an almost infinite arsenal of weapons, magical objects, and powers. It was the power of the Light Burden that transported Josh, Barry, and Allison to the savage Lost Land. There, Josh was forced to learn the ways of a Turok, using the weapons in the Light Burden. Arriving in the once protected place in Galiana called the Safe Lands, Josh met Adon, the Speaker of Forever Light, who speaks for the Council of Voices, the ruling body of the Safe Lands. Here, Josh learned that an ancient being from another universe known as Pramagen had awakened. The inhabitants of Galiana consider Pramagen the greatest danger to ever threaten the Lost Land and Earth. Pramagen awakened from his million-year slumber and planned to power up his light ship to attempt a journey home. Unfortunately, a side effect of Pramagen's trip back to his own universe would be the total destruction of both Earth and the Lost Land. Turok's missions to stop Pramagen led him, Barry, Allison, and Adon to the arena of a creature known as the Campaigner. The Campaigner stages battles in his arena to wait out the week. Josh defeated the mighty Campaigner, who plunged through a fall gate opening and landed in the holding pit below the arena, where the many beings he held prisoners tore him to pieces. His captain of the guard stepped forward to become the new Campaigner, but Josh easily defeated him as well. Using his wits and some advice from Turoks both past and future, Josh outwitted Pramagen and saved Galiana and Earth. Amidst the victory celebrations, however, came the sobering reminder that Josh, Barry, and Allison were still trapped in the deadly Lost Land with no way to return to their home in Oklahoma on Earth. Now Adon has returned to the Safe Lands to take care of the business of the Council of Voices. Josh now tries desperately to master Fallgate travel, the way back to Earth, a way to take the three adventurers home. Chapter 1. Oh wait, water. I need water. Okay, so right off the gate, I just noticed like a really big oversight. I'm fairly sure it wasn't millions of years ago because if I'm not mistaken, the modern human didn't even exist up until 100. Was it 100,000? I think it was 100,000 years ago. Millions of years ago. That implies that humans existed alongside the dinosaurs. And I believe was it one of the comics? I think it was one of the comics that said that Paul Segna discovered the what is it called, the fissure to the lost land like in 10,000 BC. So yeah, that's a really bad oversight. Oh shit, I went past. Okay. Chapter 1. Joshua fires it, tumbled through the darkness. I can control my travel to through the Netherscape, he thought.
Living with dinosaurs would be terrifying.
Oh god. Imagine that. Well, if you're Turok, you don't have to worry about it. That is what it is. If you're Turok, you can just like I don't know, tame them or something. You're Turok, you can control the dinosaurs. You can probably ride the giant T-Rex on your on its back or something. Okay, so it's it. Ba 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 bam. Joshua Farsi tumbled through the darkness. I can control my travel through the Netherscape, he thought to himself for the 100th time since his ordeal with Primogen had ended. I can feel my body moving through the dark tunnels between the Vault Gate openings, and I can even glimpse places and times through the openings, but I can't maneuver my body quick enough to choose the gate I want to go through. His frustration built as he felt himself falling. The same wave of dizziness that always came over him just before he was ejected from the Netherscape now brought a rush of nausea to his gut. He landed on a solid ground with a thud. Josh sighed loudly. Same as the last 3 times, he said to his sister Allison and his best friend and his best high school bud, Barry Hakowitz. Allison and Barry were relaxing beside a sparkling blue pond in a gorgeous green glen. The small, remote paradise was one of the few peaceful places in the dangerous and hostile lost land of Galliana. I feel like I can almost control which Vault Gate to come through at will, but then I lose it and fall back through the Netherscape, right back here to the bad old lost land. No postcards from Earth yet, huh? Said Barry. Well, as I always say, if the server is busy, you have to keep reloading the webpage. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Now Galliana, on the other hand... Josh turned to Allison with a lifted eyebrow. She returned the look and shook her head, agreeing with Josh that Barry was definitely out there. Josh flipped down the polished open lens that was attached to a red bandana that he wore around his forehead. The magical lens, which set on the bandana above his right eye, was known as the folding eye. It enabled him to see countless invisible spatial portals that were the mystical openings connecting Earth, Galliana, and other places and times in various universes and dimensions. The Vault Gate openings could also be used as travel devices, allowing Josh to disappear from one place and almost instantly reappear in another. But mastering the secret was the problem. Josh just couldn't unravel the tangled maze of what seemed like endless portals of various sizes and shapes. Sometimes he actually ended up in the place he had intended to go in Galliana. More often than not, he arrived at random destinations. That was why he kept trying to master his technique with the folding eye. I'm okay on traveling short distances from Fallgate to Fallgate, he said, surveying the area around him through the lens. When I was in the campaigners arena and in Primogen's lightship, I popped out of sight and could reappear behind a fireborn, a raptor, or whatever nasty thing I encounter, but traveling all the way from Galliana to Earth is like a single hitter trying to swing for the fences. He looked down and shook his head. Well, Allison said, sitting up and stretching her arms, get back to work. Time's a wasting. Practice makes perfect. See, I know some old cliches too. Do your disappearing thing, mighty Turok. You'll never be able to find the right opening that will take us back to Oklahoma by sitting around on your butt, Allison frowned. I'd like to get out of the sewer of the universe before I'm old enough to collect social security. Joshua gave Allison a dirty look. He was weary and his nerves were on the edge. He'd been practicing Fallgate travel almost non-stop since his battle with Primogen. Although he loved his sister very much, they grew up together, raised by their older sister, abandoned by their parents. He wasn't in the mood for complaints at the moment. It isn't my fault we're trapped here, you know, he grumbled. Allison stuck her tongue out at her brother. It was a move she'd been doing since they were little kids, based as much on affection as contempt. Only in recent years, her tongue held a tiny silver stud in his tip. Hey, Josh replied, sticking out his tongue in response. I didn't ask to become Turok, the protector of Earth. The job was dumped in my lap. I want to get out of this dinosaur-infested alien catch basin as much as you do. He continued to glare at his sister. Barry nervously fidgeted with his glasses. He ran a skinny hand through his short, messy blonde hair and then broke the tension-filled silence. As we Earthlings like to say, let's just chill, he suggested. Someday down the road, we'll sit back and laugh at our many battles with hideous alien beings, bloodthirsty dinosaur human haters, merciless warmongers, and the other close friends we've made in this place. Barry forced himself to laugh. Think of the great stories we'll be able to tell our grandchildren, he gulped. If we live long enough to have any. Allison and Josh refocused the stare on Barry. Barry shrugged his bony shoulders. Okay, he muttered. There's no need to say anything, just being good old Barry trying to lighten up the mood. Hackowitz. That's my middle name, you know? It's on my birth certificate. Maybe you can pull that out of your light burden, Josh, so I can prove it. Josh's glare melted into a smile. Since the time they were kids together, Barry always knew how to get a laugh out of his best friend. As for Allison, she had seen the brave, assertive side of Barry during their adventures in the Lost Land. Although she would hesitate to tell him, she had gained a newfound respect for the witty scholar who had been friends with her brother for as long as she could remember. Josh spied a portal the size of a basketball backboard 2 feet above the waterline of the pristine pond. I'm out of here again, he called, jumped up and racing towards the edge of the water. The sequin warrior leaped high into the air as if to execute a perfect dive into the cold, icy blue water. Just before he hit the water's surface, his chiseled form soared into the portal and then vanished from sight without a trace. Now you see him, Barry said, and now you don't. I just hope he can land somewhere soft. Allison grunted. She'd rolled onto her stomach, her halter top revealing the striking red dragon tattoo that spread halfway across her shoulder and down her back. She'd cut her old tattered jeans into shorts, and the soft green grass felt good against her long, slender legs. I hope wherever he lands, it will give him a clue on how to get us out of here. A short distance away, near the area of Galliana known as the Safe Lands, laser cannons mounted on a massive transport vehicle swirled and fired blast after blast. The gigantic craft rolled perilously close to Galliana's only protected area. Siu, 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 blam, kabloom. The cannons blasted everything in sight. The safe lands were supposed to be a respected sanctuary for the brutal law of survival of the fittest, which ruled the rest of Galliana. The area was governed by reason and intellect rather than brute force. The Council of Voices, an elite group of ancient inhabitants, a human being, a dinosaur, and two different alien beings, were the ones in charge of the safe lands. Together, they worked in harmony to establish peace and order in this chaotic dimension. The Council of Voices, 100,000-year-old bodies, were stored in cryogenic stasis. Their minds were linked to one central computer that relayed their thoughts to their visual representative Adon, the speaker of Forever Light. Adon's senses were also linked to the central computer in the Safelands Great Walled City. Adon appeared in holographic form and had the appearance of a human female, but she was mainly composed of bioelectric energy. Although she seemed around 18 years old, her computer program was over 500 years old. At this moment, Adon was interfacing with the computer, receiving instructions from the council. The massive war wagon was crossing over into the area protected by the Council of Voices. Even though it was still miles away, Adon and the council not only knew its position, but were also aware of its deadly intent. Who is it that dares to violate the sanctity of the Safelands, Speaker? One council member asked Adon telepathically. I do not know, she replied with her mind. I intend to find out, but defense must be our first order of business. Agreed, the four members of the council thought in unison. Adon quickly organized a team of defenders to counter the unexpected invasion. In a matter of minutes, the great rumbling war tank was pinpointed and a defense squad of skimmercraft was on its way to confront the enemy. As the squad of fighters flew away from the Great Walled City, questions filled Adon's mind. Who dares to invade the Safelands? What was the purpose of the unprovoked attack? Oh crap, wait. Hello! Hello Raiders! Welcome. Hang on, I gotta pause the music. Otherwise it's gonna sound, well, you know what, I might think a little bit. There we go. Where is my thing? Welcome Raiders, my name is Coyote Knight. I'm a Turok team VTuber slash... I'm a... Hello, Manadona. Welcome. Thank you for the raid. I'm a Turok team VTuber. Long days, pleasant nights, so I say. Currently, I'm reading the Turok. I am reading the Turok novel titled Arena of Doom, which was released in 1999. Actually, let me check what year was this release. Where is the date? It doesn't have 1998. Oh, first gold key paperback printing December 98, so almost 1999. So how was your stream? Hope you had a really wonderful stream. Oh crap, where was I? Oops, I'm lost. Where did I leave off? Around here, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, there we go.
Okay, stream tie, but OBS had a meltdown. Again.
Oh, rip. OBS hate. I haven't had any issues with OBS. My issues are now my computer, which kind of like blue screens from time to time. Although I haven't had issues with the blue screens lately. Thankfully, it was just like a little period of time where with my with my computer being weird. Okay, there we go. So yeah, like I was saying, welcome Raiders. My name is Coyote Knight. I am a Turok Team B streamer slash modder slash lore expert, and I'm known for a lot of things, but mainly for the YouTube, which is youtube.com/Coyote Knight. There we go. Yeah, but currently, well, this is what we're doing. YouTube. Oh crap! I don't have the that command. Hang on. I'm pretty sure I should have it right around. Copy. How do I copy this? There we go. Okay. Oh no, it doesn't let me copy, but I know how to copy current address. There we go. Paste. Let me delete this because it's there. Otherwise, you're not gonna get the actual URL. There we go. There's my YouTube. That's my YouTube channel. I do all kinds of Turok videos. Sometimes I upload gaming stuff. I also do streams on YouTube. Like right now, this stream is currently on YouTube as well. So if you fancy YouTube, you can find me there, mainly over there. Twitch is more of like I'm just doing this because I want to. My YouTube is like my full attention sort of thing. Is the thing that I focus the most on, since it's I find it easier to focus on like pre-made content as opposed to streams. Streams is difficult, you know. Streaming is difficult. It looks fun, it looks easy, but it's actually pretty freaking difficult. Okay, so where did I left off? I have no idea where I left off. Oh, there, here we go. At this moment, Adon was interfacing with the computer and receiving instructions from the council. The massive war wagon was crossing over into the area protected by the Council of Voices. Even though it was still miles away, Adon and the Council of Voices not only knew its position, but were also aware of its deadly intent. Who is it that dares to violate the sanctity of the Safelands, Speaker? One council member asked Adon telepathically. I do not know, she replied with her mind. I intend to find out, but defense must be our first order of business. Agreed, the fourth member of the council thought in unison. Adon quickly organized a team of defenders to counter the unexpected invasion. In a matter of minutes, the great rumbling war tank was pinpointed and a defense squad of skimmer crafts was on its way to confront the enemy. As the squad of fighters flew away from the Great Walled City, questions filled Adon's mind. Who dared to invade the Safelands? What was the purpose of the unprovoked attack? And last but not least, would the rescue force arrive in time to prevent bloodshed and devastation? What's happening? Josh sputtered as he pinballed from portal to portal like a bouncing ball of human flesh. He careened from one opening to another and caught shocking glimpses of strange worlds he never dared to imagine might exist. He saw a vast oceanic world where the dormant life forms of life were advanced shark-like beings who communicated with each other telepathically. Another world that he gazed upon briefly was populated by crawling alien beings who had huge green heads attached to octopus-like tentacles. Still, another doorway presented a view of a hellish world of fire and brimstone, where winged dragons lumbered about, belching sparks and smokes. Other portals revealed places in Galiana he recognized from his recent travels during his mission to stop Primogen. Flashing before his eyes came images of the River of Souls, the Dead Marshes, and the Acacian mountain range, all places where he had battled the fierce creatures of the Lost Land. It's like I'm in a room of mirrors, and every exit is a false reflection of a place that exists somewhere else, Josh cried. How can we ever get home if I can't find my way out of this mind-boggling mega maze? Josh stumbled forward and fell headlong through a portal he thought was closed. Ah! He yelled as he plummeted through the slender warp seam between time and space. Where am I going to end up now? Some toxic swamp in an alien dimension? Boom! Boom! Kaboom! Back near the Safelands, the giant tank-like war wagon rumbled on while firing a deadly barrage of laser blasts. The immense vehicle was 200 yards long and 2 stories high. With all of its 20 guns blazing, the war tank slowly advanced onto a small settlement in the jungle, not far from the gates of the walled city. The settlement was the village home to a band of fruit gatherers who had relocated their camp in the Safelands a short time ago, feeling certain of the sanctuary the area usually provided. The fruit gatherers were small, green-skinned aliens who had no techno-weapons at all. They fell victim to the shocking laser onslaught like swift wheat to a harvester's sharp sickle. The tiny emerald aliens shrieked in alarm as they fled in stark terror. "Run for your lives!" the village elder urged his people. "Run or be blasted to pieces!" Xiao! Boom! A cannon shot exploded a hut near the elder. The unlucky inhabitants were ripped apart and shredded into tiny small chunks of broken bone and bloody flesh. A horrifying shower of debris and body parts soaked with green blood rained down on the elder and others nearby. Kablam! Another explosion at the opposite end of the village hit the group as they attempted to escape into the forest. Mangled bodies flew high into the air. Seconds later, mutilated corpses fell back to earth, minus arms, legs, and heads. The elder stood frozen in shock. Transfixed by error, he stared at the massive machine of death and destruction as it slowly advanced. It cannot be! He stammered to another survivor. "I know that vehicle. It's the campaigner's slave pen he uses to collect weak specimens, his so-called fodder to be butchered by his warrior gladiators in the arena." The elder gasped. A cannon blast exploded another hut. "No!" he cried. "This is the Safelands. Not even the dreaded and savage campaigner would dare to come here to capture victims." He shrugged. "Besides, I thought the campaigner was dead. The new Turok helped to destroy the wicked one. I am certain of it." Whoosh! Josh emerged from the fall gate opening and was hurled back into Galiana within yards of where Allison and Barry were huddled together, cowering at the top of a tree. At the base of the tree stood a brutish, ape-like Perling warrior known as a war club, who growled, shrieked, and beat the trunk with his fists. War clubs were not too bright, but they were extremely dangerous. "Over here, Paul!" Josh called out to the war club, pulling a tranquilizer gun and tranquilizer dart from the light burden. "Josh!" screamed Allison. "It's about time you got back. Who told you to go into the Netherscape anyway?" "Cute," replied Josh, aiming the gun at the beast. "This beauty surprised us a few minutes after you left," said Barry. "You never saw Allison move so fast." "Me?" shouted Allison. I didn't even know you knew how to climb a tree unless you could point and click at it to a computer unless you could point at it and click in it in a computer game." "I'm a fast learner," quipped Barry, not content to allow Allison the last word. The war club spotted Josh. "This ought to be easy enough," thought the young Turok. But before he could squeeze the trigger of his weapon, the beast was upon him, reaching Josh in 2 quick bounds, moving with far more speed than Josh ever expected. The war club knocked the gun from Josh's hand and landed with its full weight on Josh's chest. Only the mystical power of the Turok breastplate kept Josh's own breastbone from splitting in half. Josh tried to reach into the light burden for another weapon, but the weight of the creature's body pinned the satchel to Josh's side, sealing it shut. The war club closed its powerful hands around Josh's throat and squeezed. Barry and Allison saw that Josh was in trouble. The tree they climbed was some kind of mutated oak tree. Its acorns were as big as softballs. "Josh needs our help," said Barry as he plucked a giant acorn from a nearby branch. "Now, coming in from the bullpen to relieve the great Turok, Going on his first save, Barry Hackowitz, number 32. Barry reached back and threw the acorn with everything he had. The spinning projectile struck the warplow squarely in the back of its head. The beast roared in pain and released its grip on Josh's windpipe. Josh used the momentary distraction to punch the warclubs right in the face. The stunned creature reeled back. Gasping for breath from the chokehold he had just escaped, Josh shoved the beast with all his might. The warclub's weight shifted enough for Josh to roll out from under, grab the tranquilizer gun that lay on the ground, and spin to his feet, firing. The slim tranquilizer dart found its target in the warclub's shoulder. The piercing sting of the dart enraged the beast, who charged at Josh, teeth bare, growling. The pearly mutant took 2 steps and was almost upon Josh, who could smell the warclub's hot, putrid breath. Suddenly, the creature collapsed in a heat from the effects of the tranquilizer dart. "How's your throat?" Allison asked as she and Barry scrambled down from the tree to join Josh. "A bit sore, but I'll live," Turok replied, rubbing his neck. "Nice throw, bud," he added to Barry. "Thanks for the save. How come you never tried out for the Central High baseball team?" "Well, you know," began Barry modestly, I didn't want to show you up, I mean. How would it be if I had the brains, the looks, and the athletic ability?" Josh smiled. "So what do we do with Gruesome over here?" "We don't want to be around when he wakes up from his little nap." "Why not chuck him into one of your fall gate openings and make him somewhere else's problem?" suggested Allison, shrugging shoulders. "Not a bad idea," replied Josh. "Give me a hand here." Josh flipped down the folding eye and spotted a nearby portal, with Barry and Allison's help to support the tremendous weight of the ape-like brute. Josh guided his unconscious opponent into the fall gate, where he disappeared into the Netherscape. "I just hope I don't run into him the next time I'm in the Netherscape," said Josh. "Now that you mention it," said Allison, "I'm not so sure I'm thrilled with the idea of you leaving us again." "I thought the Perlin rarely leave the death marshes," said Josh, "or the campaigners' arena. That guy must have gotten really lost. I think you guys should be alright while I'm surfing the Netherscape, but just in case." Josh reached into the light burden and pulled out Turok's heavy plasma pistol. "Oh, my trusty pistol," said Barry, who had once carried the weapon during an early encounter with a giant cave spider during their time in the Lost Land. "As I recall," said Allison, "you dropped your trusty pistol at the first sign of trouble." She reached over and grabbed the weapon out of Barry's hand. Details," replied Barry, pointing at the weapon. "I feel a lot better having that little puppy around while Turok's away." "Calm down, Rambo," said Josh. "With any luck, you won't have to use it." Barry and Allison went back to what they had been doing before. They were so rudely interrupted by the war club. For Allison, that meant swimming in the crystal clear pond. For Barry, it meant amazing, interesting species for his insect collection. Barry was pursuing a 10-legged purple beetle when he suddenly saw a swarm of giant mosquitoes the size of hornets begin to buzz above his head. He swatted at them with his hand and chased them away. "I should have remembered to bring some insect repellent with me from Earth," Barry complained. "Mosquitoes just love me. I'm a walking Hackowitz cocktail. Bring your own straw." At that instant, a giant cockroach the length of a yardstick scooted from under a fern and dashed past Barry. It ran right over the front of his sneakers as if he wasn't even there. Allison swam up the edge of the pond. "Maybe we should have also brought along a bag of breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel," she mocked. "We could have dropped the crumbs on our way to Galiana, then all we have to do is follow the crumbs through the right portal that leads home." "Ha!" scoffed Josh. "Now that's a crummy solution to a serious problem." "Oh," moaned Barry. "I thought I was the keeper of the bad jokes around here." "You are," said Allison bluntly, as she dove back towards the center of the pond. Galliana is an entomologist's dreamland, Barry said to Josh, ignoring Allison's comment. Look! He opened the cloth sack he had been using to hold his specimens. It was filled with a bizarre assortment of dead insects. All of them were 2 or 3 times the size of bugs back on Earth. Gross, Josh said. What do you plan to do with those? I'm going to dissect them later, Barry disclosed gingerly. Galliana is filled with fascinating forms of life. These species are unique to say the least. Look at this. He stuck his hand into the sack and sifted through the pile of lifeless insects. Check it out, he said, extracting the body of a firefly the size of a light bulb. The bug was dead. Nevertheless, it continued to blink on and off. The rear portion of the insect glowed a bright blue color. Barry looked at Josh. I've collected a bunch of these fireflies. Aren't they amazing? He asked. Yeah, fascinating, grunted Josh sarcastically. He didn't even pretend to be interested. He just turned and walked away. Thanks for your interest, said Barry, replied with an equal sarcasm. Sorry, bud, said Josh. It's just that this portal thing is getting me down. It's like striking out with the bases loaded twice in the same game. The big hitter is supposed to deliver under pressure, and I kept falling short of the mark. Back on Earth, Josh was a Division I college prospect on his high school baseball team. He often compared his life experiences to game experiences. Barry patted Josh on the shoulder. Hang in there, slugger, Barry said. Like Yogi Berra said, it ain't over until it's over. You'll get another turn at bat. Okay, stretch time. Pay no attention to the fact that that is a dismembered hand you just saw. A dismembered hand holding the book. Here we go. Maybe some water too. Why not? Chapter 2. The campaigner's massive death machine ground to a halt in the center of the fruit gatherer's village. Doors slid open in the belly of the great craft, and ramps were lowered. Troops of apish purling soldiers gushed out of the machine, brandishing weapons above their heads. The Purling Warriors, a more intelligent class of Purling than the war club that Josh and his friends had encountered, rushed into the village, herding the submissive captives back towards their vehicle. In only a matter of minutes, the entire fruit-gathering tribe had been captured. When the Safe Lands Rescue Force arrived at the fruit gatherer's village, there appeared to be no enemy in sight. The 6 skimmer craft hovered above the empty village, searching for signs of life. All they saw were smoking huts and the twisted, mangled bodies of the dead. Suddenly, without warning, the camouflage war vehicle rolled out of its hiding place in the dense foliage surrounding the village. Immediately, its battery of lasers opened fire. Before they could take evasive action, 3 screamer crabs were shot down, plummeting to the ground in flames. One of the 3 remaining ships was blasted apart in midair. The ship and its crew were instantly incinerated in a giant ball of flame. Another ship was hit and forced to make an emergency landing. It spiraled to the ground, leaving a swirling tail of smoke behind in the sky. The lone remaining ship had no choice but to turn tail and retreat. It flew to its home base within the Great Walled City. The war's machine's lasers ceased firing. Purling warriors stormed out of the craft to collect the survivors for an arena fodder. When the prisoners were secured, the great attack vehicle rumbled off, following the vapor trail of the last surviving skimmer ship. The campaigner's next target was the huge walled city of the Safe Lands. Back in the Glen, Barry put his hand on Josh's shoulders. Ready for another trip into the great beyond, Paul? He asked. Josh had been sitting by himself, thinking about all that had happened to him since he arrived in the Lost Land. He also thought about how badly he wanted to get home. Hey, big brother Turok, clobberer of the campaigner, pummeler of Primogen, said Allison, her joking on tone unable to completely hide her pride. How about the portal that leads us back to Earth? Let's not forget the task at hand, shall we? I'd like to see the rest of my family again, not to mention my friends. Knowing all your friends, I wouldn't mention them either, quipped Barry. Allison stuck out her studded tongue at him. The color suddenly drained out of Josh's face. His chin dropped solemnly to his chest. His chest heaved and he sighed loudly, and threw up his arms in frustration. I can't do it. I can't get us home. I flunk Fall Gate Opening 101. He spun around and sat cross-legged on the ground. Then he took the light burden off his shoulders and tossed it aside disdainfully. Allison knew her brother well enough to know when he was genuinely upset. He often covered his hurt with bravado and jokes, but since this whole Turok business had begun, she had witnessed true frustration on her brother's face. The game's over, team, Josh blurted out. The cleanup battle whiffed again. I can't figure it out. We're going to be stuck here forever. Allison sat down next to Josh and pulled around an arm around his shoulder. Oh no, we're not, she said softly. She reached over and snatched the light burden off the ground, handing it to her disgruntled brother, who wrist-slung it over his head. Remember when you had trouble learning to turn a double play back on Earth? She reminded Josh. What did the coach tell you? She paused. He told you to practice. And you did. Over and over again, you practiced. You finally got it. Now you're the best high school second baseman in Oklahoma. Allison took a deep breath. She looked her brother square in the eye. You can do this, she assured him. All it's going to take, big brother, is practice. So practice! Josh shook his head. He lowered the folding eye as he stood. Then he spotted a fall gate opening near his sister. Josh leaped right at her. Allison screamed and ducked. Josh sailed directly over her head and disappeared into the portal. Instantly, he vanished from view. Maybe this time he'll discover the right doorway, Barry said to Allison. Her head nodded in hopeful anticipation. Just then, Barry and Allison heard a loud splash. Barry grabbed his sack of bugs. He and Allison rushed back to the pond. They found Josh floating out in the middle of the pond, treading water. Josh spit out a stream of water in the direct direction of his friends. Wrong portal again, he explained. Allison didn't answer. She just hardened the features of her face, and she stared at him. Lighten up, Allie, Josh said. I get the message. Practice, practice, practice. When the campaigners' warcraft reached the walled city of the Safelands, Adon and her troopers were on the walls, armed and waiting. Adon's thick braid of long, blonde hair fell down her back past her waist. Her brown bodysuit contained built-in circuitry, gold epaulets, and two large forearm plates that served as his direct connection to the Council of Voices. The city's last skirmish ship patrolled the skies above. Adon was about to order the laser cannons on the walls to open fire on the war machine when a disturbing sight came into focus. Captives in small bamboo cages were secured to the rolling war machine in strategic places where the attack craft was most vulnerable to damage. Alien fruit gatherers, including the Elder, were caged near the vehicle's main gun batteries. The surviving Safeland pilots of the crashed skimmer crafts were in cages dangling precariously above the tank's control center. Other captives were locked up and displayed in the same manner on the sides and rear of the vehicle. Hold all cannon fire, Adon ordered. We cannot shoot without risking the lives of innocent victims. Adon's eyes blazed. She turned to the alien troop commander, who was beside her on the wall. He was an 8-foot tall soldier with four muscular arms and a canine head. Open the front gate, Major Grog, and lead your rangers out of the city. Attack the underside of the vehicle with photon bazookas. If we're lucky, you may be able to disable it and force its occupants to surrender. The order was no sooner received than the campaigners' world record opened fire. Blam, blam, kaboom. Laser cannon fire exploded everywhere as Major Grog raced off to carry out Adon's command. Casualties on the wall were heavy. Defenders of the Great Walled City were blasted to pieces. Soon, bodies piled up on the ramparts as the savage non-stop bombardment continued. Adon ordered the city's last skimmer ship into action. The craft's pilots bravely dove out of the sky, attempting to draw the devastating fire away from the city. At the same time, the walled city's main gates opened and Major Grog and his troops of canine rangers rushed out into the fray. The Safe Land troops split into several attack units. Each unit was equipped with a 2-man photon bazooka team. Major Grog's team was the first to open fire. What's it? Kablam! A photon rocket was launched up at the vulnerable underbelly of the huge tank. It exploded and shook the vehicle, but did not penetrate the tank's rigid outer hull. Another bazooka team fired a rocket. With it, kablam! It dented the hull. Suddenly, a door in the craft slid open. A ramp was lowered, and out poured a stream of enraged Perlin soldiers. The Perlin were guided by the Perlin headsman, who was even larger and more fierce than the troops he commanded. The headsman rushed madly towards Major Grog, wielding a huge razor-sharp cleaver on his right hand. Major Grog drew his laser pistol. He took aim and fired. The laser beam sizzled and crackled as it burned a clear hole through the headsman's hairy chest. Before Major Grog could find a new target, a Perlin gunner cut him down with a lethal rock-firing Gatling gun. Dozens of jagged projectiles struck the Major in the face and head, tearing deep gashes into his flesh. Blood gushed from the fatal wounds, and he fell, never to rise up again. The brutal and deadly contest raged on, with neither side letting up. The body count soared as torrents of many-colored life fluids soaked into the battle-scarred ground. Then, finally, the war tank ceased fire. All guns fell silent. On the ground, the hand-to-hand combat stopped. A secret hatch in the war vehicle's control center opened, and a shocking and bizarre form emerged from the bowels of the mechanical monster. The creature that came out to address the defenders of the Great Walled City seemed only part human. It had a human form, arms and legs, but attached to its face, chest, and back was a type of parasite. It was a large, hideous insect. The parasitic bug and its host formed a bizarre symbiotic relationship. The bug lived on its human host's blood, which it used, then returned to the host's body, while the insect's huge impenetrable shell provided its host with nearly invulnerable front and back armor. "What do you want?" Adon shouted to the leader of the attacking forces from her perch on the wall. The dreadful-looking thing roared out in response. "Tell the Council of Voices I want the new Turok. Give him to me." Adon was a bit confused by the thing's answers. "Who are you?" she questioned. The Council of Voices was guiding her tongue. The thing on the war machine laughed out loudly. Then it proudly announced, "I am the campaigner." Adon's eyes glowed as her puzzlement grew. "The campaigner is just dead," she replied. "He was defeated by the Turok known as Joshua Fireseed. The campaigner's own captives tore him to pieces. I know. I witnessed this myself. Again, the half-man, half-creature laugh. That was the old campaigner. At that time, I was his captain. I have ascended to his position of power. Now I am the campaigner. Then he pointed at Aaron in a menacing way. I ask you again, speaker, where is the Turok? Give him over if you want the attack to end. Aaron did not reply immediately. After a thoughtful pause, the speaker of Forever Light responded, The Turok is not here. Where is the Turok? Asked the curious campaigner. I cannot and will not betray him, Aaron stated. The campaigner laughed in a mocking fashion. He turned and made a signal with his arms. 100 captives selected for the arena fodder were marched out of the belly of the war tank led by Perlin warriors. The prisoners were hauled up as Adon and the Safeland guards watched in horror. The campaigners signaled a second commander. The tank's main laser battery was aimed at the helpless crowd of captives. Tell me where the Turok is, the campaigner demanded, or they all die. Adon was silent. The Council of Voices must decide the fate of the Turok, she said emotionlessly. There was a tense pause. The campaigners' patience quickly wore thin. Fire! He commanded. No! Adon cried. Xiao! The laser blast erupted from the barrel of the weapon. Instantly, Adon used a bioelectric charge to deflect the beam and save the prisoners. The bioelectric charge flashed through the air and disrupted the laser blast, but it also severely weakened Adon. In all probability, she did not have the power to deflect a second shot. The council has decided to grant your request, Adon began, under the following conditions. I'm listening, the campaigner called out. You must release all prisoners with you at this time and allow them to enter the safety and sanctuary of the walled city of the Safelands, Adon stated. You will also give your word never to cross into the Safelands again. I agree, the campaigner said. As vile, as merciless as the campaigner could be, he had a strict code of ethics. Once his word was given, he never betrayed it. The campaigner waved to his guards. The prisoners were set free. Other guards began to empty the prisoner cages attached to the outer hull of the war tank. Now the campaigner shouted, Live up to your end of the deal. Tell me where the Turok called Joshua Fireseed is. Adon began to speak. The words were not her own. It was the Council of Voices who betrayed Joshua Fireseed to save the lives of hundreds of innocent victims. Speaking through Adon, the council told the campaigner exactly what he wanted to know. Ooh. And there you have it. There's the Council of Voices being a bunch of bastards. So that thing that was set up in Turok 3, that's based off from pretty much these novels. And also from Rage Wars, if I'm not mistaken. I think that it's also on Rage Wars in one of the in Adon's biography, I think. But there we go. Chapter 3. Wait. Maybe I should do a little bit more stretching. I should just buy a new chair. This chair is really hard and really old too. Chapter 3. Do you think Josh will find the right portal on this trip? Barry asked Allison as they lounged on the grass beside the pond. Josh had been gone for longer than his previous attempts to find the vault gate that would take them home. Allison shrugged. Who knows, she said. Hearing Galliana, I wouldn't be surprised at anything. All I know is that the more attempt Josh makes, the better the odds of finding the right portal. Barry stood up. He picked up his bug bag. "I'm gonna collect a few more of these lynxes specimens while he's gone," Barry stated. "Our hours in the Lost Land may be numbered." "Right," replied Allison. "And you wouldn't want to risk missing even one disgusting crawling bug before we leave." Before Barry could respond with a clever quip, a loud, frightening noise echoed out from the distant undergrowth. Crunch, rumble, rumble. At the first sound, Allison jumped to her feet in alarm. She stared off in the direction of the noise. The rumbling grew louder and louder. They heard tree trunks being snapped and splintered. The nerve-wracking grinding sound twisted the tense twosome's intestines into nervous knot. "What is that?" Allison gasped. Barry shrugged and gulped. "If it's a bug, it's a mighty big one," he muttered. "I don't think it will fit in my bag." He swallowed hard. Barry glanced at his bus sack. "I just hope we don't end up in its specimens bag." Crunch, smash, rumble. "Whatever it is," replied Allison anxiously, "it's coming this way." She glanced at Barry. "Maybe we should run for it." Barry shook his head. "Suppose Josh comes back," he replied. "He won't know what happened to us. Let's hide. Maybe the thing is just a big harmless butterfly." He grinned sheepishly. "Oh yeah, right," Allison remarked. "And war clubs might fly out of my butt. Come on, let's go hide." The two friends rushed off into the underbrush. Meanwhile, Joshua Fireseed was once again bouncing from portal to portal in the puzzling dimensional netherscape. Concentrating with all his might, Turok was able to slow his uncontrolled flight to a minor extent. Little by little, he found himself capable of guiding his movement towards the portal of his choice. The strain was mind-bending, but slowly he gained control of his direction. Josh was about to propel toward a portal he hoped would lead back to Earth when a strange impulse tugged at his will and began to erode his rigid concentration. As he was pulled away from his portal destination, he caught sight of some disturbing images. Turok spied the Native American Sequin Reservation in Oklahoma, where he and Allison lived with their older married sister Vivian. He saw Vivian's home. Outside of the house was Henry Jakashawa, Bib's husband. Henry was playing catch with his 8-year-old son Clay, who was next in line to become Turok after Joshua. "Clay! Henry! Bib!" Josh yelled. He stretched out his hand, trying to get through the portal to reach his loved ones back on Earth. Josh's hand closed on the air as he was sucked back into a swirling vortex he couldn't escape from. He was violently yanked into a portal leading back to Galiana, the Lost Land. A dazed and bewildered Joshua Fireseed was deposited first in a clump of bushes near the pond where Allison had been swimming. He fell to the ground and lay face down in a semi-conscious state. "I saw them," he mumbled. "I saw Vivian, Henry, and Clay," he cried. "It was Earth," he declared. "I found the right portal, but I couldn't reach it. Something pulled me back. I couldn't reach it, but I saw them. This is further than I ever gotten." Josh gathered himself and got to his knees. He wiped his face with his hands and took a deep breath. "Did you hear me, Allison?" he yelled as he dropped his hands. "I saw Earth. I saw our house." Josh looked around the pond and the surroundings were both deserted. "Allison?" he shouted. "Barry?" His head turned left, then right. As he scanned the immediate underbrush behind him, a portion of the jungle was ripped apart. Trees were snapped and the ground was chewed up. Josh sprang to his feet and rushed over to investigate. The first thing he spotted was his heavy pistol laying on the ground. I wish Barry would learn how to keep hold of this thing, he thought. Slipping the weapon back into the live burden, Then he saw the tracks of a monstrous tank of some kind. He also saw signs of what looked like a fierce struggle. Josh saw a wisp of cloth. He bent over and picked it up. He immediately recognized it as a piece of Barry's tattered shirt. Josh continued to search the area. He found a small pile of dead bugs. He knew they must have spilled out from Barry's specimen sack. Lastly, he happened on a clue that sent shivers up alarm up his spine. It was a huge cleaver, the type favored for use in combat by a Perling headsman. "Perling troopers!" Josh grunted. He gritted his teeth angrily. They took Allison and Barry. How could I have been so stupid as to leave them alone again in this place? The War Club attack was a warning sign, a sign. I was fooled by the natural beauty of this spot. How could I have been so stupid? He repeated. Josh tried to use what he had learned in his time as Turok. He took a deep breath and focused his thoughts. He studied the trail made by the apparently huge vehicle that had torn through the glen and taken his sister and best friend. The trail led off into the deep jungle. Well, they left an easy trail to follow, he thought. At least there's that. His eyes narrowed to slits. I'll find them, he bowed out loud. And for the sake of the Perling, they both better be in great good health when I do. Josh's face contorted with rage. He plunged his hand deep into the light burden hanging at his sides and pulled out his stick bow and a quiver of tech arrow from his mystic Turok arsenal. He raised the deadly weapon above his head. If anything happens to Allison or Barry, the Perling will rue the day they ever came face to face with this Turok, he said to himself, wanting the whole of the lost land to hear. He patted his chest with his left hand, which caused his mystic breastplate to quiver. The wooden rawhide ornament made its wearer impervious to most type of physical harm. It was one of two pieces of mystical clothing that Josh had received when he inherited the mantle of Turok. The other was the leather chaps he wore on his legs, which gave him the speed of a puma. If they touched so much as a hair, he couldn't even finish the thought. Clutching the tech bow with his right hand, he dashed off, following the vehicle straight into the jungle, racing along at the magically enhanced speed of a jungle cat. Turok relentlessly dodged the trail of Allison and Barry's abductors for most of the day. As evening approached, he was dismayed to find that the tracks led into a dank and dismal swamp. He halted at the edge of the murky water and gazed out upon the wide expanse of shallow green slime. How could a tank this size have driven through that without getting stuck? He wondered, shaking his head. To cross that swamp, they would need some sort of hovercraft. Josh quickly began to search for any signs of tracks elsewhere. He didn't find any. The vehicle hadn't double-backed or skirted around the swamp. It was obvious that the tank had somehow driven through the watery region. Apparently, this tank can switch to hover mode when it needs to, he thought. Great for them, bad news for me. Turok shook his head in despair. It looked like his trail had come to a bitter and unexpected end. There was no way he could follow his adopters through the massive swamp. There were no tracks, there was nothing to follow. Josh searched his brain for an answer to this dilemma. Nothing in the mystical light burden could help him now. Light? Muttered Josh as the shadows of dusk slowly closed in. Josh squinted and stared closely at the swamp. He spied a faint blue light floating a short distance from the shore. Josh raced forward and plunged feet first into the knee-deep water. He splashed over the source of the light. Looking down, he saw that it was a dead Galliana lightning bug, the kind Barry had been collecting in his sack. Josh scooped up the glowing dead bug in his hand. A few feet away, he spotted another one. He smiled. It looks like Hansel and Gretel have left a trail for Turok to follow, after all, he said in relief. He dropped the buck and stared off across the eerie swamp. An hour later, night had already dropped in its back curtain and shrouded the swamp in darkness. A bright full moon filled the sky and landscaped with dim yellow light. There's another bug, Josh said to himself as he slushed towards towards the glimmering, lifeless firefly floating on the surface of the murky water. Josh bent over to pluck the glowing bug out of the scummy water. He was so intent on following Barry's trail of glowing crumbs, he didn't notice that he too was being followed. Slithering along behind him was a slimy swamp serpent that stretched 20 feet from snout to tail. Its scaly body was as thick as a medium-sized tree trunk, and its head was larger than a manhole cover. When Josh halted, so did the poisonous snake. The monster opened its jaws, exposing two razor-sharp fangs that protruded like curved daggers. The creature hissed loudly and prepared to strike at its unsuspecting prey. The sound of the snake's hiss alerted Turok to the danger behind him. As Josh pivoted to find the source of the sound, the snake's jaws clamped down, catching the strap to the light burden. The poisonous-filled fangs just narrowly missed nicking his flesh as he turned. Turok now spun to his heels and hurriedly fit a thick arrow to the string of his thick bow. Hunter and hunted came face to face as the deadly serpent reared up and lifted its head high up out of the water, yanking the light burden from Josh's shoulders. The serpent towered above Turok. Josh too came and fired at the snake as the snake began another attack, its poison-filled fangs flashing in the bright moonlight. The tech arrow pierced the monster's lower jaw and continued through its upper snout. The energy-charged arrow exploded in a devastating plasma burst upon contact. The head of the snake blew apart. Bloody pieces of flesh, skull, and bits of brain rained down in the swamp. The headless snake body twisted violently as the tail lashed at the water. The twitching tail knocked Josh off his feet as the snake fell into the swamp, quivering and shaking. Death slowly claimed its lower regions. Ugh. Josh lifted himself up from the green, brackish muck and waded over to the dead monster's head. He cautiously removed the light burden from its shattered skull, being careful not to touch the deadly fangs along which the back strap was wrapped. Slinging the bag back over his shoulder, Josh continued on his quest to rescue Allison and Barry. He swore not to rest until he caught up with the vehicle that held his sister and friends captives. On and on he went, trudging to what seemed like endless miles of swamp. All throughout the night, Josh followed the trail of glowing bugs. By dawn of the next day, the weary Turok stumbled out of the swamp and onto dry land. He came out of the murky water within a few feet of where the vehicle's tracks once again appear. I have to rest, he admitted to himself. Even Turoks need sleep. Josh fell to the dry ground between the tracks left by the mysterious vehicle. His eyelids fluttered, then closed. For 2 hours he slept. Turok awoke with a jolt as the sun inched higher in the sky, rising towards its midday zenith. Quickly, he got to his feet. I'll have to make up for lost time, he told himself. I'll also need to be better armed. Once again, Josh reached into the fringed satchel. This time, he pulled out one of his most useful and powerful weapons, the Turok auto shotgun. Josh cocked the gun. He held it at arm's length and jogged off in pursuit of the vehicle. Once again moving as swiftly as a puma, he covered mile after mile, making up the time he'd lost sleeping. As he raced forward, the surrounding terrain began to look familiar to him. The landscape changed from dense foliage to barren, lifeless rock. I know this place, Turok grunted as he continued on. And now I know where this vehicle is headed, he scowled. I'm moving right towards the campaign arena, Josh muttered as he quickened his pace. This doesn't make sense. This makes absolutely no sense at all. The campaigner is dead. I know. I was responsible for his death. Okay, another stretch. Ooh, yeah. No, I disappear. Well, then I'm back. I wish I could turn this into a this is too bright for my eyes. It's kind of like annoying. It's kind of annoying, honestly. Okay. Maybe there is a way. No, there's no way. I already have this on dark mode, unfortunately. Or maybe it's under here. I never bothered to check settings. Theme. Yep, there's no way to darker. Selection, settings, back to darker. You know what? I'm gonna keep it like this. I wish I could turn this invert the make the pages like darker. They're kind of like difficult to look at for a long time, for long periods of time. Chapter 4. Late that afternoon, Turok was within sight of the great stone stadium that served as the campaigner's gladiatorial arena. The huge battle tank he trailed from the pond was parked near the rear wall of the tall stadium. Josh took cover behind a huge boulder and studied the situation. A dozen or so Perlin soldiers were mingling around near the tank. Just beyond, at the arena's main gates, stood two huge Cyclops guards. The guards towered 7.5 feet tall, and both had massive, well-muscled orange skin.
What would you do if you were stranded all alone in Jurassic Park after the events of the movie?
Oh no, what would you do if you were stranded along Jurassic Park after the events of the movie? Pretty sure I would just run away. I don't know, like hide myself somewhere in, I don't know, the kitchen, I guess. Each of the headless heads had one large eye in the center of the forehead. They were armed with laser spears, the tips of which glowed with a powerful light that could slice through anything they came in contact with. Josh slumped down behind the large rock. The new campaigner certainly didn't waste any time taking over where his predecessor left off. He seems to be a tougher customer than I gave him credit for when I beat him so easily, he thought. I need a plan. Allison and Barry are probably being held inside the arena's dungeon. That's where the campaigner keeps his captives. Josh's face contorted in anger. The thought of his sister and his best friend in Terrible Father Pit, as the dungeon was known, enraged him. The pit was cold, dark, and disgusting. It was filled with lice, fleas, and other foul, blood-sucking parasites. A sudden roar erupted from the arena. Josh turned and glanced in the direction of the main gates. He heard loud cheers and jeers echoing from out of the stone stadium. It sounded like the place was packed with the usual assortment of Galliana lowlife and Lost Land aristocrats, slumbling at the expense of some poor captive. Some people seem to think the combination of ores the... Huh? How do you pronounce this? How do you pronounce this? Let me see. I need to check how you pronounce this. Uh,
Hors d'oeuvre.
Order. Ah, okay, whatever. I want to pretend I know how to pronounce this. A combination of something and gore made for a big night out in the town of Galliana. Josh Scowl. The campaigners arena was where the rich and famous came to rub elbows with local hunters and mercenaries to enjoy the thrill of watching blood sports. Another loud cheer came from the stadium, followed by hoots and howls of laughter. They love to see blood spill, Josh grumbled, as long as it's not their own. He stared at the main gates, sizing up the guards. I think I can take out those guards at the gate if I can distract the purling near the tank. Josh decided. He reached into the light burden and focused his concentration intensely. He pulled out a grenade launcher. This should keep the purling near the tank out of my hair, he said as he loaded the launcher. Again, he reached into the fringed satchel. This time, he extracted the tranquilizer gun and darts that had dispatched the war club at the pond. And this should take care of the gate guards, Turok said. No need to kill anybody if I don't have to. Josh had seen more than enough dead since his arrival in the Lost Land. Josh stepped out from behind the rock with the weapons in his hand. It's time to rock and roll, he thought. He broke into a run and headed towards the tank. Because the rockets from the stadium kept them temporarily distracted, the Cyclops guards and the Purling warriors didn't notice his approach. When the war tank was well within range, Josh halted. He put down the tranquilizer gun and then raised the grenade launcher. He aimed right at the battle wagon's control center window. Slowly, he squeezed the trigger. Blam! Zoom! Kaboom! The grenade hit the control center window and smashed right through it. Inside the tank, the grenade detonated. The great wagon burst into flames from the inside. The purling on the ground below yelled in terror and ran in alarm. Blam, blam! Josh fired again and again. Kaboom, kaboom! Grenades exploded on the top of the side of the battle vehicle, and the tank began to burn on all sides. The dim-witted purling huddled beneath the blazing war wagon, yelling, pointing, and hollering at each other. Time to move on, Turok told himself. Returning the grenade launcher to the light burden, he snatched the tranquilizer gun and bolted towards the main gate. The guards were now aware of the presence of an intruder. They lowered their laser spears and charged to greet their attacker. Josh leveled the tranquilizer gun at one guard and fired the gun. Zing! The speeding What the hell? Are those fireworks? Huh. Somebody's shooting fireworks and it's not even the 4th of July. Thing! The speeding tranquilizer dart hit the huge orange alien in the throat. He dropped his weapon and grabbed at his neck with both hands. He whirled on his knees like a top, then dropped to the ground, kicking spasmodically for an instant. Then he slumped into a motionless state. Josh turned and fired at the other giant Cyclops. The one-eyed orange guard ducked and the dart whizzed over his head. Before Josh could fire again, the guard was upon him. The Cyclops launched forward with his spear. Its laser tip sliced the tranquilizer gun in half, rendering it useless. Now you will die, intruder. The guard grunted. He poked his laser spear at Turok's midsection. Josh leaped to the side and dove to the ground. He rolled forward the tranquilized guard, grabbed his laser spear, and sprang to his feet. The two combatants were now armed with the same weapons. The Cyclops jabbed at Josh, who blocked the thrust. The guard lunged. Josh sidestepped the point of the spear and sliced downward with his own weapon. Its laser point slashed through the metal shaft of his enemy's spears, cutting it in two. The guard was left with a useless piece of metal pole in his hand. Quickly, Josh turned his spear around, clutching it near the laser point. He swung the metal shaft like a baseball bat, whacking the Cyclops in the side of his head. Bonk! The blow, the blow landed with such force that the guard was knocked out cold. Home run! Fire seat! Thought Josh as the guard crumpled to the ground just as a thunderous roar erupted from the stadium. Josh looked up at the arena main gates. He raced over to the huge wooden doors. Placing his muscular shoulders against the thick wood, he pushed with all of his might. He heard the crowd roar again, then shouts and laughter filled the air. The heavy doors swung open, giving Josh a view of the arena's central battle zone. He froze in stupefied awe. A battle to the death was going on before his eyes in front of thousands of appreciative onlookers at the stands. Out in the battle zone, a terrified Hakowitz was running for his life. In his hand was a short, three-pronged electrified spear. Chasing Barry was an alien centaur. The half-bug, half-horse creature was color blue and black. On its horse-like body there rested an insect head. Large eyes and antennae protruded from out of its skull. In its hand was a short, razor-sharp sword and a round shield. "Help!" Barry screamed as he zigzagged around the arena. "Somebody help! Please help!" The spectators in the stand roared in glee at the horrific sight. They cheered and laughed, urging the center as Barry began to run out of steam. Josh watched in shock as Barry stumbled and fell. The trident tumbled out of his hands. The centaur moved toward Barry and raised its sword for the kill. "Kill him!" somebody said in the stands below. "Chop the father into pieces!" another fan called. A chant rose from the crowd. "Live to kill, kill to live." The chant grew louder and louder as the centaur closed in on Barry. "Live to kill, kill to live." Josh recognized the chant as the motto of the campaigner and the rule that governed the arena. "No!" Josh screamed, racing out into the arena with the speed of a puma. He dashed at the centaur and jumped feet first at the creature before it could strike the fatal blow on Barry's neck. Whoop! Josh smashed into the centaur's rib, breaking two of them and knocking the creature off balance. The half-bug, half-horse staggered backwards and fell over sideways. Its sword and shield went flying. The centaur hit the ground and rolled on its back with its hooves kicking in the air. "Nice timing, bud," said Barry, tossing his trident up to Josh. "Another minute and my head would have been a wall decoration in the campaigner's rec room." "Where's Allison?" Josh asked as he caught the trident. "Don't know," replied Barry. "We got separated as soon as they brought us into this place." Josh turned and stood over the downed centaur. He held his weapon with the prongs pointed at the beast's chest. The crowd gasped. A hush of dead silence fell over the crowd as everybody waited to see what would happen. Josh thrust his arm forward, sticking the trident into the ground near the defenseless creature's body. Josh turned towards his pole as the centaur struggled to get on his feet. Josh helped Barry. "I disappeared for a while, and the next thing I know you're horsing around with this guy in the campaigner's arena." Josh joked. The two friends smiled. An uneasy murmur began to sweep through the crowd of spectators. The murmur turned into a rumble of discontent. Soon, the crowd began to jeer and hoot. "Live to kill! Kill to live!" The chant began again. "Silence!" boomed a voice that filled the arena. The crowd instantly heeded the command. All heads turned to the stone throne, which sat above the arena's battlefield. On the throne sat the campaigner. He slowly stood on his enormous 9-foot height. The campaigner looked like a patchwork out of a nightmare. shredded pieces of clothing draped in tatters over his huge body. Flags of different worlds hung on his back. On his face, neck, chest and back sat the insect that served as his living armor. All the campaigner's blood flowed through the insect, then back into his own face. Josh looked up. "Let me guess," he muttered. "Barry, the new campaigner?" Barry swallowed hard. "Yup, apparently he's quite the sadist. Kind of a demented game show host, if you ask me, and I think that you're probably the next item up for bid." The campaigner bellowed in rage. "I said silence, and that order includes you, Turok!" He snarled. The massive battle master glowered above Josh and Barry. "I'm glad you've come back for a visit, Turok," he continued. "I'll be sure to give you a warm welcome, momentarily, complete with repayment for the humiliation you inflicted upon me on the day you killed my predecessor. But right now, there is a competition going on in my arena, which you have so rudely interrupted." The campaigner put his hand on his hips as guards began to filter the arena through various passageways. "Step out of the way, Turok, and let the battle continue. Your wait will be a short one. The fodder you call Barry should be dispatched by his foe in a minute or two." The centaur trotted over and picked up its sword and shield. It quacked uneasily due to the ribs Josh had broken. Anger glared in its insect eyes. It approached Barry and Josh. "Stop!" Josh warned the centaur as he spun to his heels to face the campaigner. He knew there was no chance of fighting his way to the freedom. Limited firepower would be no match for the hundreds of heavily armed guards, and if he brought out the truly big guns, he could wreck the place, but many innocent people would die as well. There was only one alternative to watching his friends' ultimately untimely demise. Let me take Barry's place," Josh called out. "I'll fight the centaur." The campaigner threw back his head and roared in laughter. Following his cue, the spectators packed in the arena howling glee. When the campaigner stopped chuckling, the arena became silent again. The campaigner then thrust an arm in Josh's direction, pointing a menacing finger at him. "No, you can take the centaur's place and do battle with Barry," he shouted. "What do you say to that, Turok?" "Never," Josh flatly refused. He glanced at his pole. "Barry is my friend. I'd never fight him, not even to save my own life." Josh's answer enraged the campaigner even more. "There are no friends in the arena," he bellowed. "There's only victory or death." "Unlike you, campaigner," Josh yelled back, "I am loyal to my friends." "Ha!" scoffed the new ruler of the arena. "There is no such thing as loyalty in the Lost Land. You came to Galiana with two companions. Besides them, who else in the Lost Land would you consider a loyal friend?" The campaigner's words sank into Josh's brain. After a second hesitation, he answered the question. "Adon," he said, "the speaker for the Council of Voices. Adon knows the meaning of friendship and loyalty." Josh paused. "Adon is a loyal friend." A faint snicker escaped from the campaigner's mouth. It grew into a loud, muckling guffaw. The sound of his loud laughter rocked the arena and disturbed Josh. He didn't understand what was so funny. "Your loyal friend Adon is the one who told me where I could find you and the other two," the campaigner shouted between laughs. "She sold you out to save the lives of insignificant fodder. Thanks to Adon, I was able to capture your friend and your sister. Thanks to her, I found the bait I needed to lead you right into a trap. Now, Turok, you are my prisoner." The arena guards began to close in. A guard took the centaur's sword and shield. Then a purling soldier kicked up Barry's trident and handed it to him. Fight! The campaigner ordered Barry and Josh. Barry gulped. He and Josh circled each other slowly. You will fight! Screamed the campaigner. Barry made a half-hearted stab at Josh with the trident. What are we supposed to do now, bud? He asked. Let's give him a little show, replied Josh. See if we can buy some time. Josh whipped his sword into a circular motion and knocked the trident out of Barry's hand. It flew up towards the campaigner. He had to duck to avoid being hit. That was a little too good of a show, said Barry. Now what? Josh threw down his sword and shield. I told your predecessor, and now I'll tell you. I will not kill. Now let us go and tell me where my sister is, he demanded. If you won't fight, the campaigner replied. Step aside. Josh stood his ground. Step aside, Turok, the campaigner hollered. Stand back and bear witness to the execution of your so-called friend. The campaigner pulled a long dagger out of a sheath dangling from his belt. Clutching the gleaming blade in his hand, he leaped down into the arena. I personally cut the throats of the cowards who refused to fight for the amusement of my guests. He gestured toward the packed house. The crowd roared and clapped in appreciation. The campaigner raised the knife and stared for Barry. The guards had their weapons square aimed at Josh. If he made a move to fight the campaigners, both he and Barry would be killed and there'd be no chance of saving Allison. Leave him be, Josh said. Spare him and I'll give you anything you want. The campaigner halted. Always one with a shrewd eye for a deal, he thoughtfully looked over Josh. He pointed at the light bird, a symbol of Turok's power. Will you willingly give that to me? He asked. Josh looked at the fringe satchel dangling from his shoulder. He ripped it off. Take it! He called it as he threw the satchel at the campaigner's feet. It means nothing compared to the life of my friend. The campaigner put his dagger back into its sheath. He bent over and picked up the light burden. You are not even worth fighting, he said to Josh. Not Turok gives up his weapons for the life of such a worthless creature. He looked at Barry contemptuously. The campaigner turned back to Josh. You are not Turok. You are father. You are not worthy enough to be called the protector of Earth. He reached out and pulled the folding eye off Josh's forehead, then tossed it into the light burden. You won't escape using this either. Then he pulled off Josh's mystic breastplate and chaps. They instantly vanished into the fringe leather satchel as well. He gestured for his guards to close in. You must be taught courage, valor, and bravery. I will put you in the pit with the rest of Galliana's worthless father. There you will learn the rules of the arena. He looked up at the crowd. Well, he roared after a few seconds of silence. The chant began again. Kill to live, live to kill. The campaigner's guard grabbed Josh and Barry and quickly dragged them away. Farewell, father, the campaigner scoffed. The pit awaits you. Join the other useless, spineless worms. The pit? Barry moaned as he was pulled towards a dark passage in the side of the arena wall. I don't suppose there's any room in the penthouse. Josh struggled to free his arms and legs. It was useless. 6 burly guards had hold of him and dragged him down a dark, musty hall deep in the bowels of the arena. At the end of the hall, 2 short, stubby turnkeys with faces and snout like pigs moved towards a large stone slab on the floor. The slab had a rope attached to a ring at one end. The other end of the rope was run through a pulley high above. The loose end of the rope The loose end of the rope dangled down to the floor.
Would you rather
The
fight
mis-
off a full-grown
da, da, da.
T-Rex or Velociraptor?
I'll take the Velociraptor. Because from what I understand, the Velociraptors are actually the size of a chicken. from what is it called? Biologists? Wait, which ones are the ones that study dinosaurs? I completely forgot the ones that call dinosaurs. I mean the ones that study dinosaurs. Yeah, those guys. they they have like confirmed that velociraptors are not actually that size, the size that they're depicted in movies. They're actually the size of a full-grown chicken. They the only thing that you have to worry about with a velociraptor is that they attack in groups. So one, it's probably not gonna be that much of an issue. Just grab a big stick and just bonk it over its head or something. Or kick it. No, actually don't kick it. I'm not even sure if they're like that strong to survive a kick. But I'd rather fight the Velociraptor than a T-Rex. The T-Rex is still massive from my understanding. Except now it's covered in feathers because for some reason people seem to believe that now dinosaurs had feathers. And they made the dinosaurs super freaking lame, and that's why people no longer like them. If you ever wonder why dinosaurs are no longer cool, it's because they gave them feathers. Ouch, my head, ow.
Would you ever want to work as a paleontologist?
As long as it doesn't have what's it called? As long as I don't get to do math, I would probably work. I would probably enjoy working as that. Wait, I just noticed something. Why are my glasses so big? Wait, they're supposed to be about this size. There we go. There we go. Now they're actually glasses and not freaking lenses, telescopes. Yes, I would love to I would love to work as a paleontologist. Maybe even actually a geologist and a volcanologist. They're pretty physics based, so they do a lot of math, so there goes my thing. Where did I left off? I forgot. Okay. Josh struggled to free his arms and
Would you be interested in streaming Jurassic Park for Super Nintendo
Shit.
or Genesis? I bet you'd love it.
Jurassic Park for Super Nintendo or Genesis. Sometime down the line. There's so many things that I want to do that I usually end up not doing them. That's my problem. I want to do so many things, but at the same time I just don't end up actually doing them. Which sucks. I wish we had more time in the day. Why is it taking so long to...
I know that so too well, haha.
Wait a minute, let me check something with the TTS thing. Why is it taking a while to
All too well.
play the what do you call it? Is it under here? I swear I changed the settings for this thing. Settings. Chat. Why is there a delay? The delay in seconds between a read and a message on a chat. It's already set to 0. I don't know what's going on. Huh. I know this all too well, yeah. Once you grow up, there isn't like, you start to feel like that. There's no time for anything. You just don't have enough time. Many things you want to do, and then there is very little time to actually do them. Josh struggled to free his arms and legs. It was useless. 6 burly guards had hold of him and dragged him down a dark, musty hall deep in the bowels of the arena. At the end of the hall, 2 short, stubby turnkeys. I was gonna call them turkeys.
You're going to have to work YouTube full-time one day.
No, I'd rather I'd rather like buy lottery tickets until I hit big, so I instead of doing YouTube full day full time. I just don't I just can't picture myself being a full-time YouTube person. Maybe if maybe like there was a guaranteed like maybe $1,000 a month. Well, actually $1,000 a month. That's way too little. If it was more like let's say 1,000 a week, or $1,000 a week minimum, that would be more than enough for me to like actually do YouTube full time. But even then, I would probably give up after a year. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how do the big ones do it. It's like they just live for YouTube or something. It's like they commit their whole lives to freaking YouTube entirely or something.
How much do you pay for rent in Latin America? Is it expensive?
I'm not in Latin America. I'm in the US. I pay about... How much do I actually pay? $700. Almost $800 for a single room. Yeah, rent is freaking expensive here where I am. I hate it. I wish I could move to freaking Minnesota or what is the other state? Colorado, or I don't know, somebody in the Rockies, or somebody in the Rockies. I don't know, somewhere where the rent is cheap. The problem is, good luck finding a job. You need a freaking car, and you'll have to drive for like 2 hours to your job site. My job is like 20 minutes by car. So that's why I stay where I stay.
It must be the best room in the world for that price.
It beats my old place. That much I can tell you. My old place was an absolute mess. The landlord refused to freaking fix it. Fix a lot of stuff.
That's why we work from home. Gladly, home office is becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, I wish I could work from home. But unfortunately, I do physical jobs, so I need to be at the place, at the floor. So yeah, my old place, it used to be a lot worse than this. They don't want to fix. They never wanted to fix anything. We had lived there for
we're in
about.
that situation right now. Landlords don't want to fix our house.
We had lived around for like 13 years.
So now we're in a legal conflict.
Yeah, I think we had lived there for 13 years. So the whole freaking apartment, it was like a real mess. The floor was like really cheap, so it kind of like, it wasn't even floor, it was just like some weird plastic cover. What else?
Rent in the Midwest is nice. Used to live in MN. Colorado has high cost of living. Close to LA, I think.
Damn. I don't remember what is the state where you actually pay like $300 for a good place.
I've
I
bet
wish I could
California
remember
is
which
super
state is
expensive
that.
nowadays.
I think it's somewhere in Utah, or closer to the northwest. Yeah, I can't remember which one it is. But yeah, my old place used to be like a freaking mess. The bathroom, they supposedly fixed it like 4 years ago. Except they did a very bad job at it. The tub, whatever they use for to like seal off some stuff, it came off like a year after, like maybe 5 months after they supposedly fixed the tub, or the whole bathroom. It like just broke off and water leaked into the to the apartment below us. I don't know why, but yeah. They never fixed that. My sister, she was constantly telling the landlord, "Hey, this shit, it's broken again. Why aren't you fixing it?" And the landlord was like, "Lol, Mao, no, too expensive. We'll send somebody later." Then there was, in the room where I was in the previous apartment, the what's it called, the heater, it kind of like just stopped working. Like, I think it got blocked. The steam pipe got blocked, so my room would get extremely cold during the winter. Usually it would like unclog for like a few days and then get clogged again. What else? What other issue we had? Oh, rats. We had a freaking rat problem. That was from the business below. There was like this shitty business that they sold, like, what is it called? That shit, the Herbalife. I hate it. I hate it so freaking much. So they sold that. So whatever edibles that were left behind in trash bags, the rats would get in, eat those, and then go to our apartment, and like scuttle about. The room where my sister was, which was like the what is it called, the attic. Yeah, so the attic, we had like a really massive attic with a huge room and an extra room. That room was like full of mold. Like, whoever fixed that, the attic before we moved in, they did a horrible job. And the what is it called, the insulation was extremely wet.
They say removing the mold and fixing the house is too expensive, so now we're prepared to take them to court. Now they have had mold here many times already before us.
Yeah. Yeah, the freaking mold.
Exactly the same thing here. The attic is full of mold.
Yeah, so the mold problem with us was like that. So during summer, you could like smell the mold, and it was horrible. My sister was the one that was like always complaining about it, especially since she has like a kid. So
what did you guys do about it?
we just left the place. We're now in a different apartment. It is a lot more expensive. I don't know how much my sister pays, but I do pay like $800 for my room. We like split the rent between us, me, my sister, my nephew, and yeah. So we paid like I pay 800. My sister is the one my sister and her partner and my what's it called, my nephew, are the ones that pay, I guess you could say, the most. But yeah, this place is a lot nicer. Even though I live in the basement, it doesn't feel, for starters, even though I'm in the basement, I don't feel hot during the summer. The only thing I have right now is like it's a fan, and that's more than enough to keep me cool. Not cold, but cool. We also have 2 bathrooms, each with their shower, and we also have a laundry. Like, dude, that alone, holy shit! I no longer have to pay for the laundry. And another issue we had with the other apartment was the electricity. I don't know how the wiring worked in the other apartment, but whenever there was a blackout, half of the apartment would lose electricity and the other half would obviously have electricity. So yeah, that was really weird, and I'm convinced one of these days that apartment is gonna burn.
A lot of PPL just move out of places like that, and then the landlords keep doing that shit over and over again, sadly.
Yeah, from what I understand, from what I understand, the new people that they pay twice what we paid.
That electricity thing happened to us too in our old apartment.
So we used to pay the previous apartment. I do know that we used to pay like $1,500, but now the landlord they raised the rent to 3,000 or to 3,000. Yeah, they pay twice. Yeah, they do pay twice that we used to pay.
They pay twice what you guys paid.
Yes, they do pay twice what we paid. Oh, and the freaking landlord refuses to fix anything. So I feel sorry for whoever landed there.
Did the landlord fix the issues at least?
The landlord? No. Who? What kind of landlord would fix their issues with their freaking apartments, especially when they've been told for like years that it's falling apart? I don't even know when they're gonna fix that. If he's ever gonna fix the apartment. I doubt he's ever gonna fix the apartment. There was also another issue, but that was a long time ago, where our electricity bill would come in the thousands. And my sister, she had to go to the electric company, and they figured
The
out
only way to
that
change that is to take them to court, or they'll never learn.
the only way to take them to court to learn. Yeah, but I'd rather just go away, you know. Like if I don't like a place where I'm living, I'd rather just pack up my things and find a better place. It's better than just like going, I want to sue you. In my opinion, anyway. But yeah, the other issue we had, but that was a long time ago, like maybe 7 years ago, I think. Like our gas and electricity bill would come in the thousands, nearly like $1,200 for like 5 or 6 months, and we could. My sister was like, "Wait a minute, why is the electricity bill coming in like this much?" And it turns out the business below us was like siphoning in electricity, and it was and the electric company was charging us for electricity we didn't even consume, and yeah, that was a big issue. But thankfully they fixed it. The previous landlord, he fixed that issue before he sold the
problem. Finding a better place has become so difficult nowadays than much more expensive, and moving between places costs a small fortune too if you have a big family.
Oh yeah, that's the thing too. Finding a good place now. At least where I live, finding a good place is a nightmare. There's like no good apartments. All the good apartments, they're probably on the next town over. Right here in the where I live, in the city where I live, it's like, well, good luck finding anything good. Here is an apartment. $3,000. It's on the shitty ass end of the town, and there is drug issues. There's drunken issues. There is shootings. What a steal!
Same here, we were looking for a house for our family for around 2 years before we finally settled here.
Oh yeah. At least you found something. Well, I hope you did find something good. Oh, or maybe not, since you brought up the court issue. I'd rather just buy it. You know what? If I could, I just buy my own home and leave it at that. Then my issues become my issues because then I have to fix them instead of like finding if my freaking landlord will fix them or not. But whatever, it's just the way it is, dude. With this economy, it's a freaking impossible thing to buy a home or finding a home. It's such a pain, really. Now, where did I leave off? Wait, you know what? I'm gonna take a stretch. There we go. Little stretch. Let's see, where did I left off? At the end of the short, the big the muscular pain. Okay, so it was there. I should probably highlight where I left off before going into rants. Josh struggled to free his arms and legs. It was useless. 6 burly guards had hold of him and dragged him down a dark, musty hall deep in the bowels of the arena. At the end of the hall, 2 short, stubby turnkeys with faces and snouts like pigs moved towards a large stone slab in the floor. The slab had a rope attached to a ring at one end. The other end of the rope was run through a pulley high above. The loose end of the rope dangled down to the floor. The muscular pig guards grabbed the rope and pulled. Slowly, the slab in the floor rose at the end. Cries of anguish and wails of despair echoed up from the pit below, along with a rancid foul stench. The stench of rotten food, unwashed bodies, and the waste of countless species. The stench of hopelessness. When the slab was lifted high enough, the entrance to the further dungeon was revealed. Barry and Josh were forced onto the edge of the opening. There was a 10-foot drop into the dungeon below. Barry and Josh saw the crowds of helpless humans and aliens packed together like rats in a sewer. Before either could utter a sound, they were pushed through the hole and plunged into the dungeon below. They crashed onto the cold stone floor and looked up in panic as the slab was quickly lowered, sealing them in the horrible pit from which no one had ever escaped. Oh, that was close to the freaking end of this chapter. Oh, wait. Wait, let me check my phone. I think I forgot to charge it.
Have you
Never
ever dreamed
mind.
about being in the lost lands of Turok?
Never mind, I did charge it. I did charge it. Have I ever dreamed about being in the lost land? I've dreamt about playing Turok. Does that count? I've dreamed that. I had dreams about playing Turok, but never a dream about being in the Turok universe, which is weird. It is weird that I've never had a dream where I'm... Oh,
Get up!
Oh, good heavens, look at the time. Hello, Barry. Welcome, welcome. Long days and pleasant nights. So I say, welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. And hang on. Squats. Okay. I was gonna stretch anyway. Here we go.
I dreamed about being in the Lost Lands.
Wait.
Coyote 82 Yoti Wiggly Coyote 82 Blee. I was
Here we
trying
go.
to find my way and the Trex was after me.
Run. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
I found
13,
super mysterious ruins and all
14,
sorts of creatures. It was awesome actually.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Whew. Okay, here we go. I dreamed about being in the Lost Lands. I was trying to find my way, and the T-Rex was after me. I found super mysterious ruins and all sorts of creatures. It was action, actually. I envy you. I wish I could remember my dreams. The only way I've been able to like remember my dreams has been if like I concentrate like really hard after waking up and try to relive the dream using my thoughts. And even then it's not a guaranteed. Like I had dreams where I like oh, I want to remember this dream. And then after like 5 hours, I've completely forgotten the dream, even though I tried to like remember as many details as I could. And the only thing I remember is like vague hints to the dream, like, oh, this dream that I had that I want to remember. Oh, I completely forgot about it. The only thing I remember is this and that and over there, and that's it. Whew. Okay. except for this dream like that I had today, which I want to, you know what, I'll probably write it down later. I still kind of like have some vague recollection of it. Yeah, recollection. I want to keep that. I want to see if I can keep that in mind. It was kind of weird, and it was kind of, I don't know, scary is the right word, but it was like, oh wait, no, not scary, eye-opening. it was like one of those what is it called, mind-opening dreams, I guess you would say. I've never had one of those. Okay, so Chapter 5. Allison Fireseat's isolation cell was also deep in the bowels of the arena, in a hallway opposite to the dreaded fodder pit. The isolation cells were used as holding pens for captives whose feisty spirits attracted the attention of the campaigner or Captain Cree, his second in command. Cree was in charge of training members of the campaigner's elite guard. It was the job of the elite guard to fight in the arena for the amusement of the campaigner. Only the bravest and toughest warriors got to join the elite guard. And something about Allison told Cree that maybe the young woman had what it took. In his mind, she was certainly more than simple fodder. Cree himself was a rhinoid, of the planet Reynatrope. He stood 7 feet tall and had thick gray skin like that of an earth rhinoceros. Growing out of its low forehead was a sharp ivory horn, which he could skillfully use in combat. Kree had risen through the ranks of gladiator to the elite guard to sergeant at arms and finally to captain of the campaigner's guard. As captain, he was next in line to become the campaigner should any disaster befall his new master. Following his unsatisfactory confrontation with Turok, the campaigner went to see Kree. He found his second in command in the hall leading to the isolation cell. "What is your opinion, Kree, of the Earth Girl, Allison Fireseed, the Turok's sister?" the campaigner asked the captain. Kree stuck out his huge thumbs in the white belt he wore. Dangling from the belt were a curved sword and a laser blaster. "The girl fought like a hellcat at the pond when we took her," Kree said. "Later, she punched a Cyclops guard in the eye when we arrived at the arena. He still can't see straight. She spit in the face of a gladiator and kicked one of my elite guards in a spot that made his voice rise 2 octaves and then make him black out. I think she might make a fine guard." The campaigner nodded in agreement. "From what I've seen and heard, she has more courage than her brother, the Turok." He chuckled. "It would suit to have the sister of a Turok fight for my pleasure." He looked at Kree. "See to her training personally." The Rhinoid captain smartly saluted his commander. "Consider it done," he replied. The campaigner turned and walked away. Chris smiled in a sinister way. "I will see to it that the girl becomes a trusted member of the guard." He bowed. Then the captain started off towards the isolation arena. Minutes later, the door to Allison's prison cell slowly opened. She was sitting on straw that was clustered in a bunch on the stone floor. There was no furniture in the cell. It was barren. Allison got to her. Wait a minute. What the hell? Why did you pause this? YouTube, please. Oh, I forgot to turn on the looping. And it said to freaking autoplay. I hate it. Okay, so where did I left off? Allison got to her feet as Captain Kree walked in. A big guard turnkey stood by at the door. "What do you want, Hornhead?" Allison asked. "You'll be sorry when my brother Turok, gets here. And what did you do to my friend Barry?" Captain Kree shook his tongue, his huge, hairless gray head from side to side. The motion made his large ears flap. "I have bad news, little girl," he said matter-of-factly. "My name is Allison, and I'm a woman," she replied. "Where I come from, guys who call me little girl get kicked right in the—" "Silence!" barked Tree. "You Earthers have an annoying habit of babbling endlessly about nothing." "Yeah, well, I'm sorry my conversation doesn't suit you," snapped Allison. "Maybe female hornheads don't talk much, but where I come from—" "I am not interested in what it's like where you come from," replied the captain. "You are here, and here's where you will stay." "So what's this bad news you're talking about anyway?" asked Allison. "Unfortunately, your companion Barry has been dispatched in the arena by a centaur warrior," Kree explained. "Dispatch?" muttered Allison. "What do you mean dispatch?" Kane shrugged his massive shoulders. "Dispatched," he repeated. "Do you prefer destroyed or maybe killed? Is that clear enough, little girl?" Kree watched closely to see how Allison would react to his lie. At first her face registered shock, then her expression changed to one of sorrow. Tears trickled out of the corner of her eyes. And finally, her facial muscles contorted in anger flushing her cheeks. "You butcher," she yelled, bailing her right arm into a fist. She punched Cree right right on the chin. His head snapped back, but his huge flat feet stayed glued to the spot where he was standing. Allison jumped back and threw another punch. Again, her fist chucked his chin. When she attempted to throw a third punch, he reached out and grabbed her fist with his huge hand, squeezing it hard. Allison cringed. The pain rushed up her arm and into her shoulder. My brother Josh will make you pay for this," she grunted. "He's the Turok. When he gets here, you'll pay dearly what you did to Barry." Chris smiled. "Turok is no longer in Galiana," Chris said, spinning another lie, testing his potential trainee. "He has returned to Earth. He left you behind. Now you are all alone." The color drained out of Allison's face. Cree pushed her away and released his power grip on her hand. She crumbled to the floor. Josh went back to Earth?" She stammered in disbelief. No, it's not possible. Barry's gone and Josh left me here alone? No, she got to her feet. "You're lying," he accused. "Josh and I have been through. You have no idea. You're lying, hornhead." Chris shook his head. What purpose would it serve for me to lie to you, Allison?" He spoke her name purposely. "I am here to help you survive in Galiana. I like your spirit. I want to train you to be a member of the Campaigners Elite Guard. As a member of the Guard, you will enjoy many special privileges." He paused. "If you are wise, you will make the best out of a bad situation." Allison pondered Chris' words. She didn't trust the huge, menacing captain, but what choice did she have? Becoming a member of the Elite Guard might prove useful if she really was stranded alone in the brutal Lost Land. It might also give her a chance to avenge Barry's death and find Josh if he really hadn't gone back to Earth. Later on, if things went right, she might be able to escape to the safe lands. "Okay," Allison agreed after some deliberation. "I'll do it." "Good," Captain Cree replied. "Your combat training will begin first thing tomorrow morning." He turned and lumbered out of the cell. The turnkey slammed the prison door shut and locked it. Once again, Allison was left alone in her cell. She slumped down on the straw. Sadly, she shook her head. "Poor Barry," she said softly. Tears flowed from her eyes. "Why?" she said as she fought the urge to cry hysterically. She wiped her face on her arm. "Why did Josh leave me here? Why did this whole thing happen to us?" She leaned her weary head back against the stone wall and shut her eyes. Sleep came quickly. The next day, Allison was up before dawn, fed a good meal, and then outfitted with new clothes. She was also issued a short dagger and a laser spear. When you have demonstrated undying loyalty, you will be issued more sophisticated weapons like a blaster and a laser rifle, Captain Cree told her. Allison accepted her primitive weapons without comment. She followed Cree as he led her down a long hallway to an outer training area. The training area was inside a stockade with high wooden walls which formed a large rectangular battle arena. Waiting for Allison in the center of the battle area was Barrow, the Cyclops guard she'd punched and almost blinded. Barrow was also armed with a laser spear. Cree and Allison entered the battle arena. As soon as he saw Allison, Barrow assumed a fighting stance. "Now your training begins," Captain Cree told to the young second girl. "Kill or be killed. That is the lesson you must learn to become an elite guard." He stepped behind Allison, put his hand on her back, and shoved her towards Barrow. Cree pushed Allison so forcefully that she fell to the sawdust-covered ground. Her spear fell from her arm. Instantly, Barrow charged his defenseless foe. Allison saw him coming. Barrow raised his laser spear to stab at the Earth Girl. Quickly, Allison rolled to her right as the searing laser point brushed past her side, tearing the sleeve of her shirt. She rolled again and sprang to her feet. "Take advantage of a helpless girl, will ya?" she yelled as she recovered her spear from the ground. Allison gritted her teeth. "Orange guys with only one eye shouldn't fool with pointy objects," she warned. Her temper was now hot. Her blood boiled with hatred for the Cyclops, for Cree, for the campaigner, for his whole damn adventure. Rage, rather than fear, drove her. "You never know what might poke your eye out." Allison lunged at Barrow with her laser spear. Barrow dodged the thrust and countered it by turning and striking a blow with the blunt end of his long spear. The shaft hit Allison behind her knee and took out her legs from under her. She fell hard and landed on her back. Captain Cree laughed out loud. The other members of the elite guard who were watching the combat session also laughed. The sound of the laughter caused Allison to grow even angrier. Her eyes flashed as she grabbed her spear and scrambled to her feet. Using the blunt end like a pole, she bolted feet first towards Barrow. The surprise move caught the huge orange Cyclops off guard. Allison's feet crashed into his chest and knocked him off balance. His spear went flying. He landed on his back, sprawled on the ground, weaponless. Moving with flashy quickness, Allison drew the dagger she'd been issued, which hung in a sheath at her side. She jumped on the Cyclops and placed the blade against his throat. "I yield!" Barrow screamed as he pleaded for his life. "I yield! Please spare me!" Allison glanced up at Captain Cree. "Kill or be killed! Isn't that what you say?" she asked. "Hold!" yelled Cree. "Member of the elite guard killed only in the arena at the command of our leader, the campaigner. Put your dagger back into its sheath." Allison glared at the Cyclops and then at Captain Cree. Calmly, she put away the dagger. The other guards applauded. Cree went up to Allison. "Congratulations," he said. "You have passed the first test. An elite guard always fights well and always obeys orders." Allison looked at the captain and nodded. She was biding her time. Allison Fireseed didn't take orders for anyone. 2 weeks of intense physical training followed. Allison was instructed in how to use a blaster, a laser rifle, and an assault bazooka. She learned how to fight with a sword, a trident, and a spear, and was taught lethal hand-to-hand combat techniques. Captain Cree personally monitored her progress. Allison seemed to have a real knack for combat. Cree was impressed. "You learn fast, Earth Girl," Cree told Allison after another day of training came to a close. "You obey orders and you fight well. In a matter of weeks, you've mastered skills and techniques which taken other recruits months to learn." "That's because I'm not stupid like most of the beings I've met in Galliana," Allison replied to her instructor. She failed to mention that by concentrating on her physical training, it kept her from thinking about Barry or Josh. All she thought about was getting out of here. Allison walked into the huge mess hall with Captain Cree, where members of the elite guard were served their meals. She continued their conversation. "If I'm going to be stranded in the Lost Land, I might as well make myself as comfortable as possible." She stopped at the line forming in front of the service area. "Members of the elite guard are well fed," she said, "and we have decent living quarters." Cree nodded. "I take it your new room is a great improvement over your former cell." My room is in the Ritz, but it's better than the pit, Allison replied. Cree's eyes narrowed to slits. What do you know of the pit? He questioned. The captain now wondered if Allison had any idea that her brother and friend were adrift in the ocean of lost souls confined in the arena's dark underworld. I've heard the other guards speak of the pit, Allison said. I know the arena father is kept there. That's what I know. That's all you need to know, Cree answered. Now go get yourself a tray and some food. Cree pointed into the service arena, which looked to Allison like a high school cafeteria. As Allison went into the service area, the campaigner strode into the mess hall. She was wearing Turok's light burden slung over his shoulder. Captain Cree immediately went up to greet his commander. How is the Earth Girl's training coming? The campaigner asked his captain. I believe she is ready to fight to the death in the arena as member of the elite guard, Cree replied. In such a short time? The campaigner said in an astonished tone. The captain nodded. She is ready, he assured his commander. I have arranged a little demonstration to prove my point. Cree looked across the mess hall. He raised an arm and signaled to a burly Perling warrior waiting near the food service area. Allison came out of the service area carrying out her tray of food. On a cue from Cree, the Perling walked up to her and blocked her path. Allison stopped dead in her tracks. The Perling reached out with a thick, hairy arm and punched upward under her tray. Food flew everywhere. The tray, eating utensils, and her dinner showered down, littering the mess hall. For an instant, the dining room was silent. Then the room burst into thunderous laughter. The giant Perling looked down at the small Earth girl before him and smirked. The beast was daring her to retaliate. Instead of losing her cool, Allison just smirked back at the ape-like beast and nodded. The hairy bulk grinned and looked away for an instant, basking in the approval of the guards. That was when Allison made her move. She leaped up and punched the huge creature in the throat. The blow momentarily caused his throat to contract. The brute gasped for breath. As it choked, Allison leaned back and kicked the Perling in the midsection. The beast doubled over. Its great arm dangled as it heaved and wheezed. Allison grabbed its right arm and spun to her heels. She ducked under the arm and twisted. The Perling jerked into the air involuntarily. The beast's body flew up, then came down hard on a dining table. Bam! Scraps of food, glasses and plates were mashed beneath the bulk of the subdued Perling. The mess hall roared in appreciative laughter. Next time, Allison shouted to the dashed Perling, wait your turn. Bravo, girl, the campaigner said. He clapped his hands as he strolled forward with Captain Cree at his side. The captain is right. You are ready to uphold the decree of the campaigner's elite guard. Allison turned towards the campaigner. She was about to speak when something caught her eye and stole her very words of her tongue. Dangling at the campaigner's side was a familiar fringed satchel. It was Turok's light burden. Allison glanced at the bag. How could the campaigner have the light burden if Josh has come back to Earth? She wondered. Even if he did finally find the right fold gate, Turok would never leave without his mystical bag. Do you wish to fight for the glory of the elite guard? The campaigner asked Allison. It would be my honor, Allison lied. She couldn't keep her eyes off the light burden. Confusing questions started to buzz within her brain. Had Cree lied when he told her that Turok had left Galliana? Was her brother Josh really back on Earth, or was he still here? Was Barry dead? Or was that also a lie? Allison looked away from the bag. The question that plagued her the most needed to be answered, but she also knew that she had to continue to play her role of a loyal recruit if she was to learn any more. Nothing would please her more than to serve as a member of the great campaigners elite guard, she said. I'm getting good at lying, she thought, a necessary talent in Galliana. I told you she had the spirit, Chris said to the campaigner. Now she also has the skills. The campaigner nodded in agreement. So be it, he stated. Arrange for her first appearance in the arena. The campaigner turned and walked out the campaigner turned to walk out of the dining hall. Allison watched him leave. Her eyes were glued to the light burden swaying at his side. Where is he? Allison wondered. Where is my brother? Ugh. Chapter 6. 1, 2, 3, okay. What time is it? Oh shit. Oh crap. Chapter 7. Holy shit. I mean chapter 6. I'm already in chapter 6. Damn. This thing moves quick. Okay, hang on. Let me switch here. Let me move here real quick. And also let me move here. And also let me do this and let me do that. So okay, so I'm gonna leave the second half of the novel for next time. Let's see, what else? I forgot. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it for the next half of the novel for next time. So thank you for watching. Thank you for coming to stream tonight. I have no idea what I'll be doing this week. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I have no idea what I'll be doing next week. I mean this week, but I'll think of something. Whatever. Also, what else was I going to say? I was gonna say something else. I forget. Oh yeah, two new videos. Two new videos for this week. Game streaming, yeah, most likely that's what I'll be doing. I don't know, maybe you know what, I've been thinking about like just teaching the whole schedule thing and just like doing the thing like, oh, I want to stream this, that's what's gonna be streaming, and that's it. No schedule, just me streaming, that's it. So yeah, maybe not, or maybe not, maybe I will, who knows what I will do? I don't know what I'll do. Sometimes I don't even know what I'll do. But yeah, 2 more videos. Oh, well, technically 3. 1 short and 2 videos. Same time, same on Tuesday and Thursday, and on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'll make the post on YouTube later, or like after stream, like right now. So yeah, there's that. And oh shit, this week is my actual birthday. I forgot that this week is my birthday. Although I do think about like celebrating my birthday on my, like, not my actual birthday, but in the what is it called? What do you call it? The VTuber character birthday, which is on August 21st. So yeah, there's that. So thank you for dropping by tonight to stream. Have a wonderful day, have a wonderful evening. On Twitch, let's go raid Whiplash. I hope I'm saying her name right. Yeah, she's a tabletop streamer, focuses on a lot of tabletop RPGs, all that stuff, all that. Wait a minute, don't tell me. Why is it so loud? Yeah, we're gonna go raid Whiplash. Really cool person. She focuses a lot on tabletop RPGs and stuff, and usually watch her from time to time when I'm like, I don't I don't have anything else to watch. Or oh man, that makes it sound like I'm watching her out of pity or something. No, but yes, I do watch her. She's cool. So yeah, thank you for dropping by tonight to stream. Have a wonderful day, have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful night, and I'll see you on Thursday, hopefully.